press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello my dear students, we had started with the new chapter, that is Judiciary, right? Okay, so yesterday we did discuss certain things here that is related to Judiciary. So why law is necessary, why law is being made, okay, how law like it is done, and why is it important for the people here, right? Is it applicable to each and every person? How judiciary has come into existence, why judiciary is totally independent, right? We did discuss about these things. So yesterday we did even discuss how judiciary has become very much important, right? How judiciary is gaining importance, and even law and judiciary, how is it related? And yes, who punishes the person who has done wrong? So all those things we had discussed. We came up with certain cases there. We even did discuss about role of judiciary, right? So what are the roles here? Judiciary plays very important role, or say crucial role, wherein we did discuss saying that judiciary is having certain roles here. That is, very first role is dispute resolution, right? So whenever there is a dispute between two citizens, or citizen and state, or say two states, or state and central government, then definitely it would be the judiciary who solves all these problems, or say it handles these disputes in a manner required. The second one is judicial review, right? So whenever the judiciary feels that yes, constitution is being violated by the parliament with the laws, with the new laws that has been made, okay, so those things are being those things has to be stricken down by the judiciary, so it helps. The third is upholding the law and enforcing the fundamental rights. So these things are also done by the judiciary. So now let us know the things, the further things. So yesterday we were supposed to discuss about the structure, right? So we had discussed only few things here. So the structure goes like this. You see, Supreme Court of India, High Court. Supreme Court is the apex court, the structure, okay. When it comes to the structure of courts, very highest court or the apex court, what we call it, is the Supreme Court of India. The next is the High Court, okay. The second highest court is the High Court. The third is Metropolitan Courts. Okay, the third one is metropolitan courts. This is related to the metropolitan cities and all. It is almost very similar, but only thing is chief metropolitan court and magistrate court, it is having metropolitan names that has been attached to it, and it is almost see metropolitan courts. And the next one is district and session court. It is those can be called as subordinate courts. Okay, these are called as subordinate courts. So these courts are divided. See, again further it is divided as civil, criminal, district court, session court, okay, sub court, principal, junior, civil judge court, judicial magistrate first class, judicial magistrate second, like the second class. So municipal court, all those things, okay, those come under one particular category, that is the subordinate courts. Okay, we consider them as the subordinate courts. Now, when we say that courts, okay, when we say court system, so these are the structure, this is the structure, okay, we can consider this as the structure here, because this is how the court system works here, okay, this is how the court system is actually, okay. So the highest court is the Supreme Court, and then the High Court, okay, High Court is the second highest court. Then comes all the subordinate courts. See why this High Court or say Supreme Court has come into existence. Whenever the subordinate courts, if at all they have not given the decision, okay, the correct decision is not given, okay, a few times it so happens that the decision given by the subordinate courts will not be acceptable, okay, the people may not be happy with those decisions given by the subordinate courts, and they may require certain other courts to give the decision, okay, which has to be again taken care by the Supreme Court or say High Court. So yesterday we did discuss about Supreme Court and even the High Court. So what are the functions, how do they function, what are the works they are doing, all those things we did discuss, right? Okay, so this is about the structure of the courts here. So you do not have anything to be said in detail. So this is a basic thing which you have to know. However, if you are coming into law itself, then definitely you will be reading each and everything in detail. Okay, so let us move further. Let us know what is appellate system. So what is this appellate system? And see, yesterday I told you, if at all you are not happy with whatever decision given by one of the subordinate court, you can go further for the other courts, right? So that is what we were discussing. So when I said you can go for an appeal, okay, what is this appeal? Have you ever thought what actually happens, how the appellate system works here, right? So let us know about that particular thing, Nev. See, there is a famous case, that is State Delhi Administration versus Lakshman Kumar and others. So this is a case which is an appealed case. Okay, so let us know what actually happened here. Very first is here Lakshman. Okay, he was a person who was working in Delhi and he got married to a person called Siddaganga. Okay, in February, that too in the year 1980. Okay, in the month of February he got married and they were living in one particular flat in Delhi itself. Okay, so he probably belonged to Delhi. So they got married and they were staying in Delhi itself. So Lakshman's family also lived in the same flat, including his mother and a brother. Okay, so nothing but Sudha had a mother-in-law and a brother-in-law. So they both lived with Lakshman itself, and so they accepted Sudha and they were having happy time. So once what happened, on 2nd December 1918, the same year, okay, hardly few months, 8 to 10 months. Okay, so in the same year 1980, December 2nd, Sudha died in hospital due to burn. Okay, totally she was burnt and she died there. So now that was suspicious in nature, something that has been suspicious, because dowry system and this domestic violence was very much it was very common in these places. So that was suspicious. So case was filed. Okay, the family did file a case. Now in the trial court, okay, 4 witnesses were called up. Now witnesses are the one who are giving the or who know about the case, and they are the evidences. Okay, they are evidence. They can be considered as eyewitness or say like some witness who has seen who were present at the spot. Okay, at the crime spot. Okay, they can be considered as the witness. Now 4 witnesses, they came there when they took up the case. Okay, the case was filed. Definitely it was filed by the family itself, her family. Okay, it's not Lakshman's family. It was Sudha's family who did file a case against these people, saying that they have killed her. Okay, it was a murder and it is not a suicide, or say it was not accidental or anything. She was killed. Saying this, they did file a case here. So in the trial court, 4 witnesses came up and they said that they heard screaming. Okay, the previous day, that is on 1st December, they did hear Sudha screaming. Okay, so hearing this, they did rush towards their flat. Okay, they came inside the flat and they saw Sudha with her sari on flames. As soon as they entered the flat, they could see that Sudha was totally into, her sari was totally burning. Okay, it was on flames and actually she was screaming there. So seeing this, these people ran, they did rush towards the flat and they tried saving her. How did they try? They did extinguish fire. How did they extinguish? They did wrap her with gunny bags. Okay, and they tried extinguishing the fire so that she does not get burnt up. So now this was the thing. Okay, but still, what happened? Sudha, she was still conscious. Okay, she was very conscious at that particular time when these witnesses went inside to save her. Okay, to extinguish the fire and to save her. When they went inside, so she could see that she got to know that. Sudha told them that her mother-in-law poured kerosene and her husband lit fire. It is her, okay, there's a small mistake, you can just ignore that, the extra spelling. Okay, so Sudha told them that her mother-in-law, okay, Sudha's mother-in-law, she did pour kerosene and her husband himself did lit fire. Now during the trial, Sudha's family and even her neighbors stated that Sudha was subjected to torture. Apart from these things, the neighbor witness, what did they say? Sudha was undergone torture. She was tortured by her family, her husband, her mother-in-law and all. So she has always faced that problem, and that's the reason she maybe there are chances that they might have killed her. So this was something very suspicious, because earlier days they were demanding scooter, even money, etc. from her. Okay, apart from these things, they were demanding actually for more money. See, dowry is something which is very common, which was very common in those days. Okay, now it is not common, and don't take it light. Okay, so then it was common. So they were demanding money and all, and she probably this would have led. That is what they the witness. Okay, they did saying that again and again she was undergoing this torture. Her family used to torture her. So Lakshman and his mother gave this statement. Now again it was let me tell you, court always follows principle of natural justice. So what is this principle of natural justice? The principle of natural justice include two things. That is, very first is your ode alteram partem. Nothing but you have to, the court has to hear both the sides. It is not only hearing one party, you will be deciding, it won't be the right thing. So it is like hear from both the sides. So you have to hear from both the sides. Both parties should be always heard. So that is referred as ode alteram partem, which is a principle under natural justice. The second principle is a rule of bias, wherein you should be impartial. Okay, you should not be biased on one particular person. You should be unbiased. You should be totally you should be impartial in nature. Okay, partiality, there should not be partial. Yes, I know this person, I will give the decision in his favor, or probably he has given me money, I'll be giving the decision in his favor. These things should not happen. So that was the case here. Here also they had to follow the rule of ode alteram partem, nothing but hearing both the parties here. So now what happened? Lakshman and his mother, what did they say? They said that no, the fire did caught, okay, her sari caught fire accidentally. It was merely an accident and nothing more while she was heating milk. So unfortunately the accident took place. They gave the statement. Now, hearing both the parties, the trial court, okay, it gave the statement, or it gave its decision. It said that Lakshman and his family are to be convicted. Okay, they are convicted. Nothing but, see, there are terms called as accused and convict. Accused is a person who will be under suspicion, he will be taken. Okay, under suspicion he will be arrested, he will be taken into custody. But until and unless his guilt is proved, he cannot be called as convict. Okay, once his guilt is proved, he will be called as a convict. So these are law terms. Accused is a person who is taken into custody on the basis of the suspicion there. Okay, if at all the police feel that yes, he is under suspicion, he has to be arrested under suspicion because the very first person was him itself. So that person will be considered as the accused here. And once the person's his guilt is proved, then the person will be called as convict. So After giving their statement here, after Lakshman and his mother gave the statement saying that the fire, like accidentally her sari caught fire while heating milk and all, so that was not the evidence which could be accepted. So what happened? He was convicted there. He was convicted, and what did they say? They sentenced them to death. Okay, so this was the decision given by the trial court. Now, when they said this, what happened? So the trial court gave the decision, no doubt, but that was not, these people were not happy with the decision given by the trial court. As I told you, it usually happens that you will not be happy, right? You will not be happy with the decisions given by certain courts and all. So you can go to further appeal. So that is what we are discussing here. So appellate system, right? So when it comes to appellate system, so now they are not happy now because Lakshman has been convicted, even his family has been convicted, though they have given their statement that was not acceptable. So they sentenced them to death. So it is like order to be killed as punishment for crime. Okay, so it is like sentence them to death, which is a very crucial kind of decision, I can see. So further it is continued like this. So what happened in the year 1983? See, it took a long time. Okay, so in the year 1983, the three accused, that is mother, Lakshman, his mother and his brother. Okay, these three accused, they went to the High Court for the appeal. Okay, with an appeal they went there. So now High Court, they gave the verdict against the trial court. They gave the decision against the trial court, saying that Lakshman is not found to be guilty, so he should be acquitted. Okay, so that is what they decided, and they gave the statement saying that the High Court acquitted Lakshman and Shakuntala and even Subhash. Subhash is his brother. Okay, Lakshman and Subhash are brothers. So Shakuntala is his mother. So all the three were acquitted. Now further because they were not happy with the decision given by the High Court, so Sudha's family decided that they will go for further appeal here. So when they went to the Supreme Court, okay, so this is how the appellate system works here. You see, they were not happy. These people, the three who were convicted, okay, who were considered to be the people who have convicted, like they were considered to be convicted, right? Lakshman, Shakuntala and Subhash. They were not happy with the decision given by the trial court. So they went for the further appeal to the High Court. Now High Court has acquitted them, but this was not acceptable by Sudha's family. So now they further went for an appeal. So which is the highest court now where they have to go after High Court? Definitely it is Supreme Court. They cannot come down again. Okay, though trial court has given the decision, they cannot come down again. So now they went further, that is to the Supreme Court. Now Supreme Court took up the case. Okay, they took the appeal case and they said that Lakshman, okay, and the two members, so the acquittal of Lakshman and the two members were kept aside. Okay, they heard the argument. See what happens, lawyers, the advocates, okay, they will be handling this. So they did, the Supreme Court, the judges did hear both the arguments from both the sides, and they gave the decision here. They said that Lakshman and his mother are found to be guilty, and they did acquit Subhash because there was no sufficient evidence against him. See, yesterday while telling about judiciary, I clearly told you, without having any perfect evidences, okay, without having perfect evidences, you cannot, the court never gives any decision. Okay, court never deals with the cases without having evidences. It totally depends upon the evidences here. So the same thing has happened here. So as there was no evidence against Subhash was set free, but there was an evidence against Lakshman and mother, like his mother, because all the witnesses, okay, eyewitness, they gave the statement against them itself, and that's the reason they were again convicted. So now Supreme Court is the highest court, right? So whatever the decision given by them, that was upholded. So the accused were sent to the prison for life. So that is what the decision given by the Supreme Court. So this is how the court system works. You see, if at all you are not happy with the decision given by the subordinate courts, you will be going to the higher court. Okay, so higher court takes up the case, it deals with it, and even it gives the decision. If again there is a problem with the high court, then the highest court is preferred. Okay, so that is appellate system. Now, the second one is different branches of the legal system. So when it comes to different branches of legal system, you have two branches here. One is criminal law, the other one is civil law. See, when I said about the domestic violence, now whatever happened, okay, they killed, right, the murder. So it is considered to be criminal law. Okay, it is a crime, right, and is taken under criminal law. So what is the difference then between the civil and criminal law? Very first is, now when it comes to criminal law, it is an injury to the public. You see what happens when a person, yesterday's example you can take, murder, I told about murder, right? Here also the murder, Siddaganga has been killed, right? So that creates the fear among the public. So that is criminal law. And civil law is a particular person. Now when the broker, yesterday's example, when the broker, okay, did some fraud against you people in relation to the selling of property, so it means that it is a private injury. Nothing but of only one person has faced this particular problem, and it is not against the public here. So an injury to the public is considered to be criminal law. It is taken always under a crime. Okay, it is considered to be a crime, and a private injury or wrong will be considered under civil law. So when it comes to criminal law, it is prosecuted by government. Okay, we call them as public prosecutors. So it is prosecuted by the government, because police people do handle all these things, right? Police. So complaint, once they receive complaint, FIR will be filed, then charge sheet, all those things. There are procedures for that. So it is prosecuted by the government. So government will be involved, because it is a crime against the public and not a private person. No doubt it is the person will be, the victim will be individual itself. But that creates a fear among the public, right? So that's the reason the prosecution will be done by the government. And when it comes to civil law, the plaintiff sues the defendant. Here plaintiff is nothing but the person who has faced the problem, okay, who has faced the damage here, and defendant is the person who has caused the damage. So plaintiff is you in yesterday's case, okay, yesterday's example, defendant is the broker who has caused such problem. So attorney provided if defendant cannot afford one, parties must provide their own attorneys. See what happens. So when it comes to this criminal law, if at all you are not able to hire any of the attorney, then definitely that would be provided by the government. But when it comes to private cases or say civil cases, you yourself have to hire there. Burden of proof. What is this burden of proof? It is nothing but who has to prove. Okay, who has to prove, whether it is you, whether the prosecutor, or whether it is the attorney, or who has to prove it. So when it comes to burden of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt. So see what happens with the evidences against that particular person who has done crime. So that has to be collected by the state itself, or say the government itself. So here when it comes to burden of proof in civil law, it has to be done by the private individual. Conviction may result in civil disabilities or loss of liberties. So here no civil disabilities and no loss of liberties. See, conviction. Conviction is nothing but the person will be convicted, right? He shall be sent to the prison. So when this happens, so there will be total civil disabilities. Nothing but the person will not be allowed outside. There might be certain torture against him, and he loses his liberty, right? But when it comes to civil disabilities, he has to pay compensation and all. There would be hardly any imprisonment there. So penalties potentially include loss of liberty. Penalties are typically monetary. So when it comes to criminal law, imprisonment, and even they have to pay fine to the government itself. And when it comes to civil law, it is typically monetary. Nothing but monetary. Everything is dealt with money. Okay, so they have to pay the compensation there. So these are the different branches here, criminal law and civil law. So when it comes to criminal law, so what they say is, yes, so it deals with the conduct, okay, criminal, it deals with the conduct or act that law defines as an offense here. So they consider, law considers whatever act done by the person itself as a crime. Okay, then such a thing will be dealt under criminal law and the person will be found guilty. The accused can be sent to jail and also fined. It usually begins with the lodging of an FIR with the police and investigation of the crime, after which the case is filed. So this is how the criminal law will be carried out, the process for criminal cases. And civil law, it deals with any harm or injury to the private person. Petition has to be filed before the relevant court, the one who has been affected by such a act of another person, and the court gives the specific relief, okay, asked by the person who has faced the problem, nothing but the plaintiff. When the plaintiff is facing certain problem by the defendant, okay, defendant has caused him certain problem there, he has caused the person to face certain damages, then it would be the specific relief, nothing but what actually the plaintiff wants, whether it is money as a compensation or whether it is a substitution or any of the other substitution. So this has to be decided by the court itself. So these are the differences between the criminal law and the civil law. Now let's move further. Does everyone have access to the court? Definitely. Is there any restriction? Can I restrict you saying that no, you cannot go to the court? Is it possible? No, right? So all citizens of India can access the court, and as you all know, court plays a very important role in protecting the fundamental rights. And yes, any person's rights are violated. Okay, it may be legal right or it may be. See, in one of the case, what happened? Let me tell you this case. Ashby versus White, they say, okay, in this case what happened, the person was not led to vote, okay, the person was not led to vote. Voting is a legal right, right to vote is a legal right, and the person wanted some X person to win. No doubt he did win, the X person did win, no doubt, but here his right was violated, right, his legal right was violated, he was not allowed to vote. So violation of right. So whenever a citizen's rights are violated, then definitely he can approach the court for justice. But nowadays approaching court has become very difficult for the poor section, especially because lots of money has to be spent there and even it is time consuming. So because of these things, people are not ready to go to the court. They feel that court is of no use because they eat much money. Okay, they take up money in a lot and they don't come up with solution, and years together they take up the cases and all. So this is the common thing which usually I have seen it. Okay, so legal procedures involve a lot of money and also people do avoid. Okay, they totally avoid and they say that, and it is very difficult for the poor because they feel that they cannot afford. Okay, that is not affordable for them. So therefore they go with PIL. Now how this PIL came into force, let us know about it. See, PIL is nothing but public interest litigation. What is this public interest litigation? This public interest litigation, it is it makes or it allows, okay, it allows the individuals or say any organization, maybe NGO and all, or a group of people who really work for the betterment of the public. Okay, if at all they are planning for the betterment of the public, then yes, they will be working for the benefit of the public itself. It allows these individuals or say the organization to file a PIL. Okay, they can file PIL in the High Court or say the Supreme Court on behalf of those whose rights were being violated. So imagine if at all one person's right is violated. Okay, if the person's right is violated and he is not ready to file any case. Okay, he doesn't, because he does not have much or say adequate or say enough money to file a case. So what he does, he goes for PIL, nothing but public interest litigation. Even if one person's right is being violated, public interest litigation, they can take up the case as a PIL here. So it should be in the interest of public. Okay, it has to be in the interest of the public. They can go to the High Court or say Supreme Court on behalf of those whose rights are violated. So do remember, even a letter or a telegram which is addressed to the Supreme Court can be treated as public interest. Okay, so the whole group or say individual, whosoever is considered to be the public here, okay, they can file this public interest litigation. So earlier it was used to rescue these bonded laborers who were treated very badly. They did not have good working condition, and even sometimes this to secure the release of prisoners. Okay, to release the prisoners also these PIL used to be filed. You know, even this midday meal came into existence because of PIL itself. In Rajasthan and Odisha and all, they had much more grains. The state government stored this grains in the godown, okay, much more grains which was unused, and that was totally getting you could see much more what I can say, those grains whatever they had stored, which was never used, which they did not use to distribute among the poor, that had got all the pest and all. Okay, so but even then they had stored it like that itself. So this used to happen. So with public interest litigation, few of the people, they did file a public interest litigation saying that government is storing the goods in the godown, okay, which they are not even using, nor they are giving any free distribution to the public. So this was the thing they did tell there, and this was the contention given by the people there. And hearing this, the court said that you have to come up with midday meal for the school students, and even you have to distribute it. You have this Nyaya Bale Angadi, right? Yes, there you have to distribute it freely, like, or say at a lesser price. So these things came into existence because of PIL itself. So public interest litigation, in the interest of the public, they did file this public interest litigation. Now they considered, okay, they said that under Article 21, right to food is also a fundamental right. So Article 21 says that right to life and personal liberty. So when it comes to right to life and personal liberty, what did they say? Right to food is also a right to, it comes under right to life and personal liberty. When you say that right to life includes, okay, when you say that right to life includes a right to have a good environment to stay in, right? When you are telling this, then definitely Article 21, which says that right to life and personal liberty, it should include right to food. So this was the contention given by the people who filed public interest litigation. So when they filed this public interest litigation, they said the same thing, right to food is also a fundamental right, and if at all any person is violating of this right, definitely that person should be punished. But what the Supreme Court said that government, every government, whosoever is storing grains and all, they have to give this or distribute the grains in the name of midday meal, or even they have to sell, they can sell the grains at lesser price to the people, so that each and every person will get the grain, as these grains, if at all they sell in the market, that they will not be, the poor people cannot afford it. That's the reason this provision was made by the Supreme Court. So next is life. When they say life means more than a mere animal existence. So that is the reason they consider right to food as a fundamental right here. So it is more than a animal existence. Mere life cannot be just taken away or extinguished. We cannot see without having food. You could see there were people who used to die, who were dying without getting the minimum nutrition. Even getting minimum nutrition was very difficult. Not only that, getting good food also, like getting nutritious food, or say getting the minimum food was also very difficult. That's the reason it is not the animal existence, or it cannot be just taken away by any person, or even it cannot be extinguished. That's the reason right to food is a fundamental right under Article 21. So do consider this, and they ask them to give the food distribution. So this right to life include right to livelihood too. So livelihood, if at all a person cannot afford the basic livelihood, then definitely he has to get something to live his life. So for that reason itself, the food grains are sold at lesser price, so that each and every person, whosoever is considered to be poor or whosoever is considered to be below the poverty line, can afford all these things. So another problem when it comes to justice, so another problem to get the justice is the time consuming, and the court takes much more time for giving the decisions. Right, to give the decisions, it takes much more time. So what they are telling here, decisions, when they are giving decisions, it takes much more time here. The court is taking much more time, it is delaying, it delays actually to give the decision here. So justice delayed is justice denied. So that is the characteristic wherein if at all the court extends its time, if the court is taking much more time to decide upon anything, what they say, justice delayed is justice denied. So most of the justice, most of the judges, what they say is, if you are delaying in giving justice, then it is like you are denying to give the justice, nothing but you are not ready to give any justice, you are not ready to make justice. So that is what they say here. So that's the reason when it comes to law, court, etc., though they are exceeding the time, they are taking much more time, but even then justice is given. No cases are unheard, no cases are totally without having any reason. They never say that they will not take up any case, that will not be denied, justice will be given, but the court needs time. But it should not take much more time, so that the justice will be delayed, and it would feel the people who are seeking for that particular justice, they would feel that however this would be denied. They should not feel this. So that is what they have said here. So in conclusion, I would like to say that in spite of all these problems, there are so many problems, no doubt justice has been delayed, people are unable to afford for whatever the amount, court the amount, whatever they have to pay, that is and all, those things are very difficult for the poor, right? In spite of all this problem, the judiciary has a crucial role in democratic India. So when it comes to democracy or democratic India, what they say is judiciary is playing a very important role. So because judiciary, see, everything, judiciary is the one that actually explains the law. It is the one which is interpreting the law. Making law is done by Parliament, executive executes the law. Judiciary is the one which totally explains about the law. And when it is explaining about the law, imagine it goes very difficult. I have told you about helmet thing, right? Many times I have given this example. Where helmet, the law was made by the Parliament. So Parliament gave this thing, they came up with the new law saying that everybody has to wear helmet. Now people started wearing hat and they called that as helmet. Was this acceptable? Then the judiciary had to explain it. It has to give the explanation what exactly is meant by helmet. So later on they did change the law. They did amend the law saying that helmets should be having ISI mark, something. So it is like, ISI mark. That is the main thing. So this is how the law will be interpreted by the judiciary, and this is related to one particular situation. There are much more situations wherein judiciary actually has to explain about each and every law. So that goes difficult. That's the reason it plays a crucial role in democratic India, because Democracy, when I say, it is upon the people itself. It is for the people, by the people, and of the people, the government, right? So democratic India, it totally depends upon the people itself. And if people are not concentrated upon, definitely India will not develop the way it is expected to be. Next is, check on the powers of legislature and executive by the courts have been helpful. So that is what courts do, right? Because the legislature or say the executive should not exceed its power. The court always keeps a check on this. Apart from that, it even protects the fundamental rights of the citizens so that no person violates the fundamental rights of another person. Apart from that, it is an independent judiciary. So no person can poke their nose into the court. As I gave the example of a politician yesterday, right? Imagine the politician is hiring, or say he is the one who appoints the judge there. Imagine he has done the mistake. Then the judge would be having that, right? Yes, he has chosen me or he has appointed me as a judge. I should be in his favor. So these things should not happen. That's the reason there is a process who appoints judges, all those things yesterday we have discussed, right? It is the president with the help of Chief Justice of India, Chief Justice of High Court. Okay, so like apart from that, even the governor and chief this council, the ministers, okay, like a council of ministers, all these people do help to choose the justice, nothing but judges of the respective courts. So this is all about judiciary. Hope now you have understood why law is important, how it is governed, okay, why court is important, and how court is playing important role to take up the laws and interpret the laws and make people accept the laws. So this is all about judiciary. Let me conclude once again. So judiciary plays a very important role. The court system plays important role in giving solution, nothing but dispute resolution, judicial review, upholding the law, and protecting the fundamental rights of people or say the citizens. Apart from that, it is a totally independent one, because no government, no politician, okay, no individual can poke their nose unless and until that is permitted by the court itself. So court never permits, court never wants any person to poke their nose, because it is an independent one and nobody has the right to question the decision given by the court. And the Supreme Court is the highest court here, apex court what we call. Down to that we have High Court and the subordinate courts. Subordinate courts are next to High Court. We came across appellate system wherein how to appeal the cases. So that is again discussed with the case. Okay, so hope you have understood the things. If you have any doubt, please let me know, dear students. Hope I have reached to your expectations. Thank you so much. Have a great day.